Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Harihi Om. That which we call the outer world is perfect. This which we call the inner world is perfect. Each one filled with divine consciousness. Perfect comes from perfect. Take perfect from perfect. The remainder is perfect. Divine consciousness is non-dual. Anything that emerges from the divine consciousness is whole, is complete, is Purna. May peace and peace and peace be everywhere. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva.
Hi friends, welcome once again to the series of Purnamadah. We are in season 3 episodes and I'm very excited to once again be here with Dr. Trupti Jain, who conceptualized this entire program, which is sharing with you the real experiences of people who've been through past life regression therapy and the life transforming experiences that they come out here and share with are not only humbling but awakening. So are you ready for today? Because today is very special. Dr. Trupti Jain is a pioneer on past life regression therapy, and she has been practicing it for over 2 decades and has already treated over 7,000 people with this therapy. And I might tell you this also very positively and very affirmatively that around 99% of her have been successful. So this is a wonderful journey that we are unfolding here in Purnamadah. Today we have with us somebody, not only a clinical hypnotherapist, she's a certified International Medical and Dental Hypnotherapy Association graduate, a certified past life regression therapist, and a yoga instructor. She uses a variety of tools and techniques like Reiki, pranic, crystal healing, metaphor, and art and play therapy with her clients. She works with people of all ages in person through online video sessions, allowing them to rediscover their own good health and happiness. She's dedicated to helping her clients heal physically, mentally, and emotionally, and that is her life purpose. She is based in Hong Kong, and here today she's with us. She's been trained under Dr. Trupti Jain herself. She's none other than Varsha Panjabi. Welcome, Varsha.
Hi, Varsha.
Hi, namaskar.
Hi.
Namaste.
Welcome to Purnamadah.
Thank
And
you.
I must say, today she's going to share with all of us something that most of us fear. And she overcame it, and not just overcame the fear and phobia that she was going through, but her life transformed. And that is how we are gonna now unfold and be a part of the soulful conversation. I am Shreeja, your anchor today. I am myself a therapist trained under Dr. Trupti Jain, and I'm extremely glad to be here with both of you, Varsha ji and ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, my dear Shreeja, and welcome, Varsha. It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure for me to have this conversation with you. And of course, Shreeja is going to be there asking some very questions which I may forget to ask. Varsha, generally it's nice to start from the beginning, right? And generally I've noticed that people who get into this field of healing are not all doctors, like medical doctors, or they're not from the field of psychology. We're just people who from childhood have some unfulfilled desire. So did you have some unfulfilled desire from childhood?
Yes, that's right, Trupti ji. Um, right from childhood, I've always wanted to be a doctor. Always wanted to be a doctor because my mom, my dad, and my auntie, they all worked in a hospital.
Okay.
And my auntie was a lab technician. And of course, my mom and dad, they were in the administrative departments. But living in that environment all the time, being exposed to doctors and nurses and hospital and medicines all the time. And I was really fascinated by, the doctors wearing those white long coats. And as a child, I always imagined myself to be one of them. But probably destiny had other plans, so never got to do that. But nevertheless, after the age of 50, after my children were all married and well settled in life, I said, I think it's my time to pursue my interest now.
I think God has a grander plan, always. And in the Matrix, He befitted you perfectly in alignment with all the health therapists, I think.
Absolutely. No, and Varsha, it's such a wonderful thing because life's desire can be fulfilled at any age. Age has nothing to do with, I would say post 50, you actually got a new life.
Yes, that's right. So I was really inspired actually when I visited, I was visiting my daughter in London. And when I went for her graduation, she was doing her master's in international journalism. So we both, my husband and I, we went for her graduation. And there I saw an 86-year-old woman graduate. And I'm like, why am I doubting myself? Why am I doubting myself? I'm only 50. Why do I keep telling myself I'm too old to go back to college or school?
It's some injunction, I think. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
So, and then of course, for a while I just let it be. But then the place where I was teaching yoga, because I'm a yoga instructor, so the place I was teaching yoga, Trupti ji has also been to that yoga center. Remember, you had a session there.
Yes,
yes. I remember the TA session that we had there, and you had asked. We had done an exercise on perfect drive. Our drivers, right?
Yeah.
So that's the place. So there was a workshop there by a hypnotherapist, and I used to have an OCD about OCD of symmetry. Everything has to be symmetrical. Everything has to be symmetrical, and so this therapist was actually sitting on a platform where one of the leg of the platform was not open. So constantly I was just looking at that leg and I was thinking, oh my God, I hope he doesn't fall down. I hope he doesn't fall down. I just couldn't concentrate on anything he was talking. And I was just thinking, oh my God, I hope he doesn't fall down. So, and after a while, he was talking about, EFT actually. So emotional freedom technique, right?
Yeah.
So he said, does anyone have an issue? You're welcome to come and, be my demo here. So I said, yes, it's me. And he asked me a few questions and I sat there and we started tapping. And within minutes, he actually, mapped it down to my childhood. The OCD was coming from my childhood. So I said, oh my God, this is so fascinating. I must learn this. I must learn this. So right there and then I decided that I'm going to learn hypnotherapy. So that's how I got into hypnotherapy. And then
the journey started.
Then the journey started. That was all. And then that's it. There was no stopping. So then, yeah. And then of course, and one of my friends told me about you. He asked me, have you seen Ras Pishlejanamka? And I said, no, I haven't. And he said, but you are in hypnotherapy. You keep talking about past life regressions. How come you haven't heard of heard of this show? I said, but I don't live in India, so I haven't heard of it. So he said, yeah, but it's available on YouTube. You can watch it. And then that's how I started watching your shows.
Okay.
And then I was so fascinated with every case. And then I started, that I Googled you, found you, came to see you in Bombay, and did your mystic journey.
And then you were there with us in Mussoorie for
Mussoorie.
7 days.
7 days.
Yeah. And I remember Varsha ji, the very same year, she did the 2-day workshop, and I think the very same year you came to Mystic Journey. Yes. She was so caught up with it.
Yeah.
I came in January. For Mystic Journey, and then May we did the the PLR training.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. And Shreeja, Varsha is the only one who's done the 2-day Mystic Journey offline, and she's also done the Mystic Journey which I've started online. So
she's third round. This is my third round. Once in Hong Kong, when you came to Hong Kong, I did it in Hong Kong. I did it in Mumbai, and then again online now.
Yeah,
awesome. And mine was probably the 50th or 100th. I don't know which one.
Yeah, she has been, of course, doing so many of them. Yes. But yeah, Varsha ji, I think it's so wonderful to hear this. First of all, that how the journey starts, and at any time anything can become a trigger, something that just facilitates your growth. And that's what happened in that EFT workshop with you. You just kind of moved on. And then how has this journey unfolded over the last so many years? Can you share something about that?
Yeah, so I've had very interesting cases. And I can't talk about many, but then just one or two. So there was this, actually she's a friend of mine. So a long lost friend. So she saw my article on FB, and she said, she read that, and because she was going through a lot of anxiety disorder. And then she also was having insomnia, and she couldn't sleep. She was on sleeping pills. She was seeing a psychiatrist, and for over a year she was seeing a psychiatrist. But she said she was feeling so helpless that she couldn't sleep at night, in spite of taking sleeping pills. And then she was fed up of seeing a psychiatrist, because not only, it's not only the medicine, but, she had to spend a lot of money seeing the psychiatrist, and it's quite expensive.
Yeah.
So she came to see me. And then, of course, I did her healing, and, gave her a lot of tools and techniques to deal with it. And, kind of, helped her to change her diet, her lifestyle, and gave her some tools and techniques about, crystal healing and chakra balancing, and, we did a PLR. So a lot of these things. And then finally, she got over it, and she was so happy. Just 2 weeks back, I met her, and she was so happy with her husband. She was with her husband, and she said, her husband himself came and told me that, Varsha, it's only because of you we have changed our entire lifestyle, actually. And
Okay.
we both are so happy. We are doing our exercises every day in the morning. We do our breathing exercises, we eat
Wow.
healthy, we sleep well, we sleep every night, we sleep early, and it's all thanks to you. So that made me really feel good. But
So
yeah,
Varsha, obviously you're using a very like a holistic approach,
yes, yes,
because
yeah, yeah,
being a yoga teacher also, you
yes,
bring that part into it, then the
yeah, yeah,
hypnosis part
yeah,
into it. So
yeah,
maybe kind of visualization,
exactly,
imaginative
yes,
exercises,
yes,
so
yeah,
that's a beautiful way actually, because
yes, yes.
there are
And
so many people who don't want to do past life regression therapy.
Exactly. So
yes.
usually past life, I do it as a last resort. I usually,
Mm.
we go through a lot of other techniques. And
Hmm.
then if I feel that, this person still needs to see, maybe it's coming from the past. If it's not from this life, maybe it's
Correct.
coming from the past.
And
And then we
moreover,
get,
a
yeah,
person on psychotic medicines is difficult. Their mind is fragmented. So at that,
yes,
I think this holistic approach
Correct.
is
yes,
better to
yes,
first
yeah.
start off and then get
Yes,
them into the
yes.
therapy.
And
True.
many people actually, they are scared of, seeing a past life, because they fear that, they
Mm.
might get stuck in the past life. And I'm like, no, you can't ever get stuck in a past life. It's
Correct.
just like you can't get stuck in a dream. You
Yes.
No.
wake once you wake up, your dream is over. So
Correct.
once you come out of a trance, you're even though you might remember your past life, but you can't get ever stuck in there.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So
And
yeah,
ma'am, I would like you to talk about this because Arsha ji has really pointed out a query that almost everyone has.
yes,
So,
please talk. Yeah,
people are really fearing to get into the therapy because they feel, what if something happens? What if my equation with certain person changes? What if I get stuck there? So, why don't you talk to
yes,
the viewers about?
So just like Varsha ji said, a past life is like a dream. You can't get stuck in a dream. The dream gets over and you wake up. Similarly, once a past life gets over, the experience is over, you will wake up. And secondly, I want to share with the viewers that you may see something which is traumatic in a past life. Let us say something which is difficult. Let's say your husband in a past life killed you, right? Something which is extremely traumatic for people to even visualize or see or even think about. Now, what
Yeah.
happens is that it's important to understand that you, as a person, physical body and physical mind, and your soul or your spirit or your consciousness is pure, right? Your physical body may have some issues, but your consciousness is pure. A pure consciousness will only show you something that can move you forward in life. It can help you, it can heal you. Your consciousness will never show you something that you are at that moment in your life incapable of accepting, integrating, and healing. So I
Mm.
always tell people that do not worry what you're going to see, because that is another question, Varsha and Shreeja, that people say. If I see something which is terrible, then will it not
Mm.
affect my life today, right?
Exactly.
So it's important to understand that it is going to affect your life, but in a positive way.
Positive.
I don't think, Varsha, you would like to share some case of
yes.
yours,
I
where
would.
something terrible came up, but actually their life got better. ऐसा कोई case share
Okay.
करिए.
In fact, I'm going to talk about the past life that I did with you just 2-3 weeks back. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Shreeja, I would like to tell you this. I don't know, you don't know about it. So, we were doing, actually, I had a fear of lizards. Okay.
Okay.
I could not even look at the screen where there was a lizard.
My goodness.
Leave alone in person if I see it. And I had sent that message to Tripti ji one day, one day before I did my session. I received a message from a friend, and she said, there is a lizard crawling up my leg.
Oh my
And
God.
when I read that, I was in the car with my husband. When I read that, I screamed so loud that my husband almost stopped the car.
Just reading that message,
Yes,
Shreeja, just
just
reading the
reading.
Imagine.
lines. There was no
Yes,
picture.
yes.
Yeah.
No picture,
Oh my
nothing. Just
God.
reading that line. And you know how in phone you get these little icons, there was a little icon of a lizard. I looked at
Ooh.
it, oh my God, and it gave me chills. I just couldn't. and gives me, you know, some kind of a current on my right side and on the head. Okay. So anyway, we did the session with, I did the session with Triptiji, and Triptiji began with showing me a picture of a lizard. And the lizard was on the screen, and she asked me to keep staring at that lizard, and I just couldn't look at it. I had to do it because, you know, I want to get over it. So as I kept staring at it, my body immediately started stiffening and getting tensed. And my whole body was so tensed that my hands actually gripped both my thighs and they spread out like the claws of a lizard. Oh, and yeah, even right now, thinking about it's giving me chills.
Go on.
I had to keep staring at that. And then finally, Triptiji said, now you go down on the floor like a lizard. And I tried to, of course, I didn't go down on the floor. So I, you know, tried to go down on the bed, you know, on all my fours. But somehow intuitively, I didn't go down flat like a lizard. I went down on my fours, but not flat on the floor. Okay, not flat on the bed. And then the moment I went down on my fours, I started howling. I started crying. I started screaming. Because I could sense myself in that creature's body, actually. That I was a reptile myself. I was actually a reptile myself. Yeah. And so you could
automatically you started feeling all the stuff.
Yes, the sensations and, you know, all the feelings, and then immediately I started feeling this disgust about the dry scaly skin and the environment where I was. I could literally hear the rustling of the leaves. You know, I was in the forest. So, and then of course, as I calmed down, then Triptiji took me to another preceding past life where I actually saw myself that I was a farmer. My feet dug deep into the mud, and I saw myself as a farmer. And then, you know, fast forward to, you know, a few years later to significant events in that life. It so happened that at the age of 60, from the age of 60 to 80, I died at 80. So from the age of 60 to 80, I did nothing. I just didn't do anything. All I did was just lie in the cot, eat and lie there, eat and lie there. That's all I did. So probably that's what, and that's the insight I got from my past life, that, you know, that life that I lived, you know, those 20 years of my life, I lived as a very lazy, inert person, like doing nothing, absolutely inactive, staying motionless, sitting there. And that's how the reptiles are, right? The lizard is also like that, right? It always stays on the, you know, it stays so motionless and still on the ball. It doesn't do anything until it sees its prey, you know, it'll stick out its tongue, eat it, and then, you know, it'll stay there. So that's the insight I got from, you know, that's why I got this birth of a lizard after this human birth. So, and Triptiji, would you like to say something about this? Because a lot of people believe that once you are a human, and after that you cannot be an animal.
Yeah.
But I think it's not true.
But you have experienced
yes,
it
I've
yourself.
Experienced it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So basically, it's like what we call sanskara, right? Tendencies.
Right.
So you've just said it, that, you know, as a human being, for 20, 25 years, you were just like a lizard. So the kind of sanskaras you developed were like, you know, inertness and not doing anything, not thinking much, just staying in a certain position for so many years, right? So that sanskara, that kind of tendency, which was very like a reptile that doesn't move too much, like a crocodile, alligator, lizard. These are all reptiles that don't move too much, right? So the sanskaras select a body. So आपके case में वही हुआ. The sanskaras selected the body. Yes. And that is why it's important that what is it that we are imbibing? as a human being? Are we
So
utilizing our physical body as a human being should? Most important is the intellect, buddhi. Right? We have a intellect which maybe a reptile doesn't have. That kind of intellect, right?
Yes.
So अगर मैं एक इंसान हूँ और मैं अपनी बुद्धि का इस्तेमाल एक इंसान जैसे करता वैसे नहीं करूँगा, तो फिर इंटेलेक्ट का कोई यूज ही नहीं है. So then why not become a reptile? So that is why the word sanskara is so important. किस तरह के संस्कार मैं अपने बच्चों को दे रहा हूँ? You know, we generally speak like that. But किस तरह के संस्कार और tendencies मैं खुद develop कर रहा हूँ? That is something that we don't think about. So excellent insight, Varsha. Really, very nice.
Thank you.
So
on that, yes, on that I would also like to add. Actually, हम लोग जब सत्संग में जाते हैं, you know, and many a times it so happens, you know, that people tend to doze off in sleep, doze off in satsang, right? So Maharaj ji always used to say, जो लोग सत्संग में सोते हैं, उनको अजगर की योनि मिलती है.
There we go. There we go.
And then also he used to say, those who are very attached to their children, they get a birth of pigs, cats, dogs, because they have a lot of litter, right?
Monkeys also, Varsha, even monkeys. Yes. Because अगर आप देखें monkeys उनके बच्चे ना अपने माँ के साथ attached काफी time तक attached रहते हैं. Then they move away from the monkey mother. So so see, it's perfect, So Varsha, how is your fear now? Can you see a picture of a lizard now?
Actually I have been trying to browse on the net and trying to find lizards, and I actually found a image of the lizard, not the lizard, the creature that I actually saw myself as in the forest.
So you need to send me that picture, okay?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
We will share it. Yes.
I can share it with people. So this is very interesting, Varshaji, that you are able to now at least browse, surf the internet to find a picture of a lizard. So that is a very, that itself indicates that the phobia is not there.
The phobia is gone.
But you know what, something really strange happened. In Hong Kong, we usually don't see lizards, right? But 2 days after I did the therapy, I did the past life regression, we were watching television, and right from behind the television, a small little lizard came out. and I started following it with my gaze. After a while, it just disappeared. I don't know where it went. And after that, I've never seen it.
And you were okay following it with your gaze?
Okay. Yeah, I was okay.
Is that the first time you saw in Hong Kong a lizard?
Well, no, I have seen, but then it doesn't happen. Maybe in all these years, in all these years, maybe 2 or 3 times.
So my goodness, this is something. This is something. My God, can you imagine the lizard, the consciousness of the lizard?
So the poor lizard said that you must have done something really nice as a lizard at this life of a spiritual person. And again, I love to Google talking about power animals. So a lizard has a regeneration strength.
Yes.
If its tail is broken, it's like it's a survivor, a true survivor.
Yes.
So it regenerates, it grows again.
Yes.
So probably that rebirth, that regeneration, that constant growth that you're doing now, like if you see yourself now, you are in spirit completely.
Now, Varshaji, just think of lizard as your power animal, and your whole perspective will change.
Yes.
Your work will change.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome.
The past life regressions that I have done I have seen myself as in, and also that I've done for other people, all my clients. It has really changed my perception. It's really changed my perception.
But Varshaji, I know you've not mentioned this before, but I want you to share that lifetime the ancient lifetime that you had as a person who was helping Adi Shankaracharya.
Oh, that one. Oh
That
my
is
God.
so beautiful, and
Oh
I
my
think
God.
it will
Wow.
connect to Wilma, who's your helper.
Yes,
You know, so you
yes,
must share that.
yes,
I know
yes.
you've not mentioned it in our email,
Yes.
but that is so beautiful. Please share that.
Well, that was not Shankaracharya ji. It was
Then
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, sorry, yeah.
Mm.
Please, you have to
So,
share that.
and this was in the initial stage when I was actually studying past life regression in the hypnotherapy.
Yes.
So this was I was a demo in the class. We were practicing on each other actually, and the students were practicing on each other, right? So I saw myself as a woman sitting and cleaning utensils,
Mm.
dirty utensils, right? And I could see actually only half of my body. Half of my body was completely in the dark, and the other half I could see very clearly. And I was in the olden days they used to wear sari, that they never used to wear a blouse,
Correct.
and they would wear that Sida sari, just like Gujarati style Sida, but then they never used to wear a blouse, right?
Mm.
And the sari is very dirty, soiled, heavily soiled. And I'm cleaning huge utensils. I'm sitting and cleaning huge utensils. And all I could hear is Vishwambar, Vishwambar. So, and also I could hear the word Sachi, Sachi. So I didn't know who was Vishwambar, who was Sachi. And anyway, so, and then what I saw was after a while, I left that house. You know how the helpers, they go from one house to another. They just, they don't work for another person, and then they go to another place. And somehow, so at the time of my death, I actually, the teacher who was my instructor at that time, he had to intervene because I was crying bitterly, very, very, crying a lot. And so he asked me, why are you crying? So I was on my deathbed. So I said, oh my God, I did not know that in my ignorance, I served a Mahapurush. Because that was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. So
Mm.
this I found out later after the class. I went home and I Googled and I tried to find out who is Vishwambar and who is Sachi. Sachi was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother's name, and Vishwambar was his name at birth.
Oh my God.
So actually, I think when I heard Vishwambar and Sachi was that, see, in those days, people never used to employ maids in the house. They used to do their own housework, right? And so I got this feeling that she was probably in labor. So she had employed
Mm.
me to work in the house. Okay. And then after that, I had left the house and gone away, right? And then, but over the years, I heard of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then I found out that he was God. But I had served in ignorance.
Oh wow.
So at the end of my life, that's the insight I got, that I had served in ignorance. And so that's why I was crying. And then 1 week later or 10 days later, I was actually meditating. I was in the mandir, and my helper just walked in with a thali. She offers the bhog. So she was keeping the thali in the mandir. And as she closed the door, I had a thought, just like a voice telling me, even though you served me in ignorance, I have sent you, Vilma, to serve you.
My goodness.
Vilma has been with me for 35 years, more than 35 years. And if it wasn't for her, I think I wouldn't be able to pursue all my interests. She takes care of everything in my house. So it's really, I don't know, I find it overwhelming
Even
to say this,
listening to you, I find it overwhelming. That what a beautiful life and the
Beautiful.
insight that you developed. And I think that is why Varshaji in this lifetime, if I may say, kind of bhakti is a very important part of your life.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit on, because how these
Yes.
how these sanskaras, we're speaking about
Yes.
sanskaras,
Yes.
how these sanskaras can transmitted from lifetime to lifetime, and in a
Right.
certain lifetime, bhakti becomes the center of your life.
Yes.
So can you
So
speak a little bit on that?
I would like to say this, that actually all of the devotees of Maharaji believe that Maharaji is an incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay.
And that's why probably, and that was my question when I did this past life that I saw. That was the question in my mind, that where was I in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's era?
Okay.
That was my question. That's the question I had put
That
when
was
I
an
did my past
induction.
life regression.
Okay, so
Yes.
that's what the induction statement. All right.
Yes.
My God.
So that's how I saw myself as a helper in his house, and I got that insight that, and that's why probably I'm connected with Maharaji now, and I'm associated with Maharaji. So
Wow.
and we all believe that he is the incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
What a beautiful insight.
I can see the
Amazing.
connection.
Yeah.
Connecting the dots and finding the connection there.
Wow. And the beautiful connection that you have with your helper.
Yes. Yes.
You know.
I don't like to call her my helper. I call her my governess.
So let me also call her the governess. And I know
Yes.
she's so wonderful. Shreeja,
Yes.
when I went to Hong Kong, I was enamored by her. The way she behaves, the way she speaks, the way she moves around in the house.
Wow.
It is like she's walking, she's actually floating. I didn't feel we were walking, but I didn't feel Wilma was walking. Honestly, I thought she was floating in the house. Everything had her presence.
Yes.
The food, the pyar se she would serve the food. And Varsha ji, I think I didn't see you in the kitchen. Instead,
Not
she
at
would
all.
actually shoo Varsha ji away. That's yahan tak
She does
Shreeja,
that.
शाम को खाने के बाद, ओके, वर्षा जी को कुछ नहीं कहना पड़ता है कि गरम पानी लेके आओ या लेमन डालो या इतना डालो. इतना अच्छी तरह वर्षा जी ने उसको ट्रेन किया कि उसने वर्षा जी को ट्रेन किया, आई डोंट नो, बट both of them are like amazing. ऐसे आंखों
So
आंखों
I
में कैसे
think
बातें
all
होती
this
है.
is grace. All this is grace sent from
Absolutely.
above,
It comes
so that
from
you can
that.
move forward in your sadhana.
Yes.
Otherwise,
Yes.
without grace, it
Yes.
is not possible.
Yes. Yes.
Beautiful.
And she herself is so devoted, even though she's Christian, but she herself is so devoted that she offers, food all 3 meals. And then she will actually remember, and she will remind me. She will even call me. Okay, tell me, hurry up. At 8:30, I have to serve the food to Thakurji.
Yeah, wow.
And
So you know what? When I was a child, I didn't know the difference between Christ and Krishna, and I think I was right then.
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
That's true. That's very
Perfect,
true.
Shreeja.
Very
That's
true.
a perfect
Very true.
thing that you have said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
So,
Very true.
Varsha ji, coming back to past
Yes.
life and all
Yes.
that,
Yes.
because talking to you, I always
Yes.
go into some other zone,
Yes.
because this is something that just came to me. Ask
Yes.
Varsha ji this. What was her
Yes.
lifetime with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So, you've had so many sessions with so many different people that you do. Any particular lifetime that you'd like to discuss, which is to do with its kind of entity attachments? Because that's another area that I want people to have some clarity. We already had a session with another of our students, Richa, last year, which evoked a lot of questions in the people's minds, and they got a lot of clarity. So I thought with you also, if I can get some session that you have done, which was very insightful for you.
Well, I would like to talk about my own personal,
Please.
That's
the best thing.
Personal session that I had with my husband.
Please.
And I have my husband's permission to say this, okay? Because
Okay.
I made sure I don't take his permission
Better.
before I say, yeah.
Better.
That is wonderful.
Yes.
That is so
Yeah.
amazing.
So he said, yeah, I'm fine with it. So actually, my husband had a cataract operation because nowadays it's very easy. It's through with laser, right? So it doesn't take, it hardly takes about 15, 20 minutes.
Correct.
And this was in the other eye. One eye, he's already done it, and it was in the other eye. But the whole procedure, basically, checking into the hospital, coming back, it takes almost about half an hour, almost a 3/4 of a day. So when we came back, although the surgery was successful, but when he came back, he was very, very restless, very restless. His blood pressure shot up to 240. And we had to take him into emergency again, because it didn't happen the first time, but right now he was so restless that he would sit in the living room. After a few minutes, again, he would go into the bedroom. He was just constantly walking in and out of the living room. So I asked him, what's wrong? He said, I don't know. I can't close my eyes. So I said, why can't you close your eyes? You're supposed to keep your eyes closed to rest them. And that's how they will heal. He said, but I cannot close my eyes. When every time I close my eyes, I see that someone has hacked my FB page. And instead of my stories on my timeline, are the stories of this Chinese man on my timeline.
Interesting.
So I found it very strange. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, but it's not one time. Every time I close my eyes, that's the only man I can see. So I thought definitely there's something to do. There's something tricky here. So so I said, would you like to do a session with me? He said, yeah, but I'm feeling very, very restless. I can't close my eyes. Can you do it with my open eyes? I said, I'll try, but let's see. So anyway, I took him back to his ego states room, and I asked him to see, where is this coming from? Where's the fear coming from and all that? And he actually saw that in the operation theater where he had his surgery, this Chinese man had died. And his spirit was attached to him. And this Chinese man was actually a Facebook maniac.
Oh.
So he was trying to fulfill his desire through someone else.
My God, that is a revelation.
Yes.
And
then,
after that?
Of course, I got it. After that, of course, I released that this spirit and all that. And then within 45 minutes, he was back to normal. And he was resting, and his blood pressure, dropped. And he was able to close his eyes, rest, and he was back to normal in 45 minutes. But that's what happened.
Interesting.
My goodness.
Did you check with the doctor if a Chinese man had died in the OT? No, you didn't.
But then, so many people die in the hospital. How will they know which person, and so many people die.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
fantastic. Yeah. Lovely. Varsha ji, koi aur case bataiye, because now I'm getting, I want to know more. Some very interesting case that you can think of.
There was another. I had a Chinese lady who came for a session, and these people, they don't. I mean, she doesn't believe in past lives, right?
Okay.
But of course, we did all the other modalities. I tried all other techniques and stuff, and she actually came to me with an issue of physical and sexual abuse. Okay, but she auto-regressed into a past life, and she saw herself as a very learned scholar sitting in a library somewhere, I think in Rome or Italy somewhere. Okay. And she was like, I feel it's me, but that face that I see is not my face. But I'm a woman, but I'm feeling as if I'm a man. How is that possible? So I said, okay, go with it. And I started probing deeper and deeper. And she was very vividly describing every detail. But at the same time, she was saying, but how can this be me? But I feel it's me. But how can this be me?
The
But
conscious mind constantly.
yes,
Yeah.
constantly in and out,
Yeah.
the conscious and the subconscious. So, but I feel that I'm a scholar, but I don't see my female body. I see myself as a male body.
Mm.
So I said, okay, go on. And then immediately then she jumped into another past life. And then she saw herself as a king. And she saw all those ornaments. And then she was vividly, describing every ornament. And she said, oh my God, now I see myself as a king.
Mm.
I said, okay, go on. She couldn't believe this. So anyway, all, this, we had a few sessions of this, the hypnotherapy and past life and all that. And in the fifth or the sixth session, she actually came and told me that, yes, today I had a doctor's appointment and the doctor informed me that my lump in my breast has shrunk. So I said, but you didn't tell me this about you didn't come to me for, anything, that lump in your breast, but you have come for physical abuse. And said, yeah, but I was my doctor was surprised. How has the lump shrunk? So I didn't say anything to her, but I knew definitely it's the therapy that has worked for her. And she has,
Absolutely.
released, she's had a catharsis and she used to cry a lot and release a lot of her emotions and stuff. So I knew exactly what was happening, but she couldn't believe that. She couldn't believe that.
So, Varsha ji, how important do you think catharsis is? Like a reaction?
Absolutely. I feel anything that you release from your body, because I constantly watch my clients, I see them sometimes they are sweating a lot,
Yes.
or sometimes they start coughing, sometimes they are sneezing, sometimes they even feel like farting. So all of these releases, I feel, it's a release of, it's a cathartic release. And that's how the healing takes place.
Right. So it is
Exactly.
important. It
Yes,
is
and many
important.
times,
Some kind
right
of
in
release.
between, they would say, I wish to go to the bathroom.
Bathroom.
So I
Yes.
actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I actually let them go, and I inform them even before the session that even if you feel like throwing up or
Yes.
going to the bathroom, you want to poo, pee, whatever you want to do, tell me, and I'll let you go. So don't try to hold on to it.
Correct.
That's a good thing.
Yes.
And many of my clients actually, in between the therapy, because we do from 6 to 8 sessions, we don't do just one session. So 6 to 8 sessions. So usually they do fall sick. And that's the time I tell them, oh, it's time to celebrate, because you are having a cathartic release. If you're having a fever or a diarrhea or whatever is happening to you, it's good. And try to avoid taking medicines, and try to stick to
Let
very
the
light
body
meal, let the
release.
body release. Yes.
Right. Wonderful, Varsha ji. So you said
Yeah.
about 6 to 8 sessions. Can you tell me
Yes.
how do you grade them? Like to start with what? And so a lot of people watching.
So I
get
usually, the
confused.
first session is always the case history.
Hmm.
Okay. And in that case history, I usually, because it's the people in the first place, they have the issue only because they are not able to release their emotions and feelings. So
Yeah.
in the first session, I just let them talk. I tell them it's like having a verbal diarrhea. So just say whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah.
Don't try to think, logic, or analyze. Is it related, not related? Whatever you are seeing, the first thoughts, first feelings, first impressions that come to your mind, just say it. And then they keep releasing, they keep talking, and so for an hour and a half or two, I just let them talk until they feel absolutely empty. They feel like there's nothing more to share. And then I decide their therapy, and there's a certain protocol that I follow. And then I tell them, okay, so it might take you 6 or 8 sessions or something like that.
Yeah.
That's how.
And
That's
it
how
is
we
very important also, to
Yeah.
go step by step, because
Yes,
sometimes
yes,
it is needed for their conscious mind to
exactly.
work with the subconscious
Yes.
work that we do.
And of course,
Yeah.
it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for your new neural pathways to be, developed.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
you have to.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So you
Yes.
can't just have a release and, because the issue has come over the years. It cannot just happen in one session and, that's it.
Absolutely.
It's
And
not.
I would say all viewers have to have that patience, to have
Yes,
work with
yes.
such healers and energy people, because it takes time to break down the
Yes.
patterns. And
Yes,
Absolutely.
that's right. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
So,
Varsha ji,
what would you have?
work is going really well.
Thank you.
Hong Kong has embraced hypnotherapy, past life sessions. How do you see your work now progressing?
Well, people are coming to believe in these modalities, because they are coming to believe that medicines, it's not necessarily everything can be treated with medicines, right? So just like I earlier said, this woman, she was taking psychiatric thing, drugs, but then she was not able to release, I mean, she was not able to heal, she was not able to sleep. So it's not always, I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't take medicines, but I believe a lot in placebo effect.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
even when many times when a client comes to me and says, okay, I'm in a depression, do you think I'm depressed? I tell them, no, I don't think so, you're not depressed at all. Because you see, they are coming to you, they trust you, and as an authority, they are looking up to you as an authority, and the words that you say to them, it can really play a havoc on their subconscious. So it's very, very important what you say to them. So even if they have a serious problem, if you tell them, yes, you have a serious problem, it'll go. Yeah.
It's like trying to affirm
Yes.
that whatever people have been saying is true.
That's right. Yes.
So now I'm also like those people. So how does trust and rapport develop then, right? You're somebody else than those people.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That's a very good approach to have, actually.
So what do you say to that, Tripti ji?
Well, I definitely say, Varsha ji, that it's very important. It reminds me of a client that came to see me many years ago, young girl who's now a friend. She came to me and she said, I need your help because I'm going crazy. I said, who told you that you're going crazy? So she said, my sister, who's a psychologist, has told me that I'm crazy, I'm mad, right? And then everybody in the family, because she's a psychologist, they believe her, right? And this is the time when this young girl was possibly 25, 26 or something, okay? And I said, first, if you want to continue coming to see me, you're going to remove this word crazy and mad from your vocabulary. And henceforth, you're not going to use this word for yourself ever. She said, but don't you think I'm crazy? I said, but I just told you something. Do not use this word. And I don't think you're crazy or mad at all. She said, Acha, you really think so? I said, yes. And you will not believe this, Varsha ji and Shreeja. Today, she's a sound healer. She's done past life therapy. And she's doing some amazing work herself.
That's what I would say. In fact, I would request to all the psychologists, psychiatrists, and all of you out there, stop labeling people. Yes. At least, whatever is in your document, do not be so overtly, out there, because people literally ferment because of the words you put them into the labels, the buckets. Yes. So that's really not healing them.
It's as simple as, Shreeja, if I tell my child you're naughty, he will be naughty because I have already told him what he should be or what he is.
Yes.
So what I am, if I am naughty, if I'm told I'm naughty, I am naughty. Right? Yes. So it's what you are told.
So it's rather like, as you always say, it's rather talk about their behavior in the current situation, then put them into a label or a bucket.
Absolutely.
So amazing.
Shreeja, you and me and everybody knows that the behavior is not the person.
Yes. Not the person.
The behavior and the person are two separate things. And I think that's a very important message to give everybody today. Varsha ji, any particular case that you feel has changed the way you think about life? Because sometimes we get cases, which kind of make us feel that, oh my God, I mean, there is something called consciousness. Do we speak a lot about it? But some case just makes you surprised.
Yeah,
like this case that you discussed about your husband is a strange, surprising case.
Yes, that's right.
So anything that made you feel, oh my God, there is a soul.
Well, every case, actually, honestly speaking, I am not surprised at anything, because I've heard so much from my guru, all about, consciousness, about the, soul. So nothing surprises me. Nothing really surprises me. And in fact, I would say, of my own past life that I saw myself, and that gave me a very big insight into, actually, I used to doubt my guru's words. So he all, we have a arti in that arti we always say, "Hon aso hon patit jo, patit na aap hi man." It means, like, I am such a sinner that I never consider myself as a sinner. Okay, so and we used to sing this arti for almost 15 years. I used to sing this, but I had never ever believed in that word, that I am a sinner. I would always say, no, I cannot be a sinner. In this life, even if I have to kill a mosquito, I would say a prayer for the mosquito, ki isko sadgati dena. How could I ever have committed a sin? It cannot be. And Maharaj has always said that हमारे अनंता अनंत जन्म हो चुके हैं, अगर एक जन्म में भी हमने एक पाप किया है तो हम अनंता अनंत पाप कर चुके हैं, right? So but then I could never believe this. But when I saw my own past life and I saw the sin, the crime that I had committed, after that changed my consciousness. And I literally started saying it from my heart that, yes, I am a sinner. And how could I have ever done that? How could I have ever done that? अब वो जो स्तुति मतलब अंदर से निकलती है, it is heartfelt. I feel that, yes, I have committed that crime and I wish I had never committed that crime.
Wow. Very few people go to the perpetrator side.
Yes.
And you actually went and saw. Definitely, it takes a lot of courage. Yes. And I'd like to ask you, were you able to forgive yourself and move on?
Oh, yes. And then, of course, but then it's not only one life. I'm sure if I have seen one, I'm sure I must have committed many, right? So Ananta, because we have committed, we've lived Ananta lives.
Yes.
So I still keep asking for forgiveness, and of course we have to surrender.
Yes.
Harsha ji, एक question मेरे मन में आ रहा है, okay, गुरु जी से संबंधित.
बोलिए.
At what age did you meet your guru?
I think I was 35.
Is that age significant for you when you met him? If you look at your past life journeys and you look at the age at which you met Guruji, anything significant at that age?
I have not really thought about that.
I remember going to the ashram with you.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Yes, you and I think Abhilasha, Abhilasha, both of you were there.
And I was mesmerized by the entire thing. How people have literally, you were taking us through the mountain. Literally there were lanes and there were dogs and monkeys, and you would say Radhe Radhe, and they would just walk away. So we've had that experience with you, and we moved into the ashram, and it was awesome.
We said Radhe Radhe to the dogs that were chasing Saurabh.
Oh, yes.
Remember? Saurabh, he was running, and the dogs were chasing him, and everyone was terrified. And all I did was I just turned around and I just started screaming, Radhe, 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 Radhe. And all the dogs just froze.
Yeah, they just, exactly. And we walked in those lanes around, say, it was early morning. I remember when we
Radhe Radhe itself is a powerful mantra.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
No, I'm just thinking about the time when you met your guru. And what about Vilma? She came close in time to that?
Well, Vilma has been with me. In fact, Vilma has been with me even long before I met my guru.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is some lifetime.
This is something to ponder on. Your
Yes.
age at which you
Yes.
Get this spiritual
I'll think
knowledge
about it. I'll
and
think about it.
awakening
Yes,
through
I'll
your
think about it.
Guruji.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because it is so beautiful, you know, because it's been so many years now that you've been associated with
But
him.
I would like to add something here.
Yes,
that
please.
our Guruji always tells us that it's just like in school when we get promoted from one class to another, right? So even in life, we get spiritually promoted. Okay, so what happens is, say for maybe my first 30 years, 35 years, in my past life, I must have died at the whatever was my age and whatever was my level of understanding of spirituality. So I start off from that level in this life. Okay.
So it is possible, Varshaji, that at 30, 35, whenever you met Guruji, okay, your spiritual journey began at that time, from where it was left.
But previous to that, actually, right from my childhood, I've always been very religious. I won't say spiritual, but I was very religious. And those, of course, must be the stepping stones to
religion, stepping stone to spirituality.
That's true. Yeah.
It is the starting point.
Yes.
I would like to ask you one question, because you said Ananta Janmas, that we are doing sins and this is how we are getting spiritually promoted. What would you say, what is the point of liberation according to theory? Like, when would a person get out of the cycle? Because it is extremely unlimited sins we've done, unlimited lives we've lived.
Yes.
So what would you say to that?
Guruji, of course, for that you should listen to my guru, but I will not be able to explain so clearly. And I'm bringing Bhageshwari Didi on 15th, so you can question her. She would be able to tell you about that. But Maharaji says कि ये सारे जो विकार हैं, काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह, ईर्ष्या, द्वेष, पाखंड, सब सारे जो विकार हैं, वो सब माया के सेनापति हैं. Okay? और ये कभी नहीं जाएंगे जब तक आपकी माया नहीं जाएगी, और माया तब जाएगी जब आप सरेंडर करोगे. So if we might think, हाँ और सब तो ठीक है, लेकिन सिर्फ मुझे गुस्सा आता है और सब ठीक है. महाराज जी कहते हैं it's impossible. मतलब डिग्री ऊपर नीचे हो सकती है, लेकिन ये काम, क्रोध, लोभ, मोह सब रहेंगे, और ये तब तक रहेंगे even 1 second before you are God realized. These will always remain. They'll stay until you are God realized. And जब God realization होगी, that will happen when you completely 100% surrender.
Lovely.
It's like,
very nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So for that, you have to listen to Maharaji's lectures.
Yeah. Beautiful.
1 or 2 beautiful insights for everybody before we end. आपने अपने पूरे जीवन में ऐसी कोई बातें you've held it close to your heart to live a life that is fruitful and peaceful and happy, purposeful. That's what everybody wants, right?
I just
words of wisdom.
Oh my God, who am I to give any words of wisdom?
You have wisdom. You have wisdom, so you're going to give it.
Before you give the last message to the viewers, I have jotted down a few things that you shared with all of us as learnings for the viewers.
Yes.
The first lesson that you spoke about is there is no age to learn, and you exemplify it.
Yes.
The second lesson that we got is It takes patience and trust to heal when a therapist works on you holistically.
Yes.
And so let the work happen. The third thing that you said is your lifestyle choices make your sanskaras, which ma'am added to, and decides what life you are going to live again and again and what experiences you're going to have.
Right.
Be grateful for the support and help sent your way.
Yes.
That is what when we were talking about Vilma. So you can pursue your sadhana in life and progress through your journeys.
Absolutely.
The other lesson that you gave very beautifully was your desires follow your position in your physical life. Your desires are following you. So keep doing an audit and free yourself of it.
Lovely, Shreeja.
Yes, another very important thing you said, that let catharsis come. Do not be, fearing it. Let it your way.
Yes.
And the last one, but not the least one, it is very close to my heart, is surrender to realize God. Don't run away from your vices. Just walk peacefully towards your virtues.
Yes.
So thank you so
Wonderful.
much.
Wonderful.
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Last but not the least, I would
Please.
like to say this to all the viewers, that everything in the universe is energy. So all healing comes only from the universe. And all healing is actually self-healing. A therapist is simply a conduit or a facilitator or a guide who just guides you through the process of healing. And you have that innate ability to heal yourself. So unleash that power of self-healing within you. Don't be afraid of past life regressions or any energy healing modalities or hypnotherapy. These are the most natural and organic form of healing without the use of those invasive methods. And hypnotherapy is just used only for wellness and transformation. So you don't have to fear it. A lot of people have a fear of hypnotherapy. So I would like to add that.
Wonderful. Varsha is so amazing.
Awesome, Varsha.
Thank you so
It was
much.
an
Thank you so
amazing
much.
talk.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
विमुख शिखर से धारा ढाए राधा हरि सम्मुख लाए बांसुरिया हरि सावरिया की राधा गोरी सुनवा रे बाजे मुरलिया बाजे रे बाजे रे मुरलिया बाजे अधर धरे मोहन मुरली पर अधर धरे मोहन मुरली पर होंठ पे माया विराजे बाजे मुरलिया बाजे बाजे रे मुरलिया बाजे हरे हरे बास की बनी मुरलिया हरे हरे बास की बनी मुरलिया मरम मरम को छुए अंगुरिया मरम मरम को छुए अंगुरिया चंचल चतुर अंगुरिया जिस पर चंचल चतुर अंगुरिया जिस पर कनक मुंदरिया साजे बाजे मुरलिया बाजे बाजे रे मुरलिया बाजे
आखर देखे सुने मधुर स्वर, आखर देखे सुने मधुर स्वर, राधा गोरी लाजे बाजे मुरलिया बाजे, बाजे रे मुरलिया मुरलिया मुरलिया, बाजे मुरलिया बाजे मुरलिया, बाजे बाजे रे मुरलिया बाजे। भूल गई राधा भरी गगरी